Mathieu van der Poel sends warning to fan that spat on him. The incident: when cycling fans forget boundaries. There are many ways to support a cyclist during a race. You can wave flags, cheer loudly, paint their name on the road, or even, if you're feeling particularly adventurous, run beside them while dressed as a banana. All of these methods are passionate, if sometimes excessive, displays of fandom. But one method that should never, under any circumstances, be considered an option: spitting. Unfortunately, at the 2025 E3 Saxo Classic, someone in the crowd decided they'd make history for all the wrong reasons by hooking up a glob of saliva and launching it at Mathieu van der Poel during his breakaway up the Carinelskammerstraat climb. A moment that was supposed to be about sheer power, endurance, and tactical brilliance became overshadowed by one person's revolting decision to treat a world-class athlete like a target for their bodily fluids. Now, one might ask, why on earth would anyone spit on Van der Poel? Was it an angry fan who lost money betting against him? A rogue Wout van Aert supporter still salty over last year's Tour of Flanders? Or a confused pedestrian who thought they were at a medieval jousting tournament? Whatever the reason, the act was disgusting, disgraceful, and utterly bizarre, and yet despite this revolting moment, Van der Poel did not retaliate. Instead of slowing down to confront the culprit or allowing himself to get rattled, he simply kept pedaling, crossing the finish line with his usual dominance. That, my friends, is professionalism at its peak. Mathieu's reaction: composed but not happy. So how did Van der Poel feel about this? Well, he's known for being one of the most emotionally controlled figures in the peloton, far from the kind to throw a tantrum, but that doesn't mean he was pleased. Post-race, when asked about the incident, he responded with a typically Dutch no-nonsense statement. Quote, "Such individuals better not come and watch the course." Translation: "Stay home, you absolute morons." There was no dramatic outburst, no elaborate complaint, just a straightforward acknowledgement that whoever did this should never attend a race again. Van der Poel didn't call for bans, lawsuits, or security crackdowns. He just made it clear that this kind of behaviour was unacceptable. The incident, however, seemed to genuinely annoy him. When another reporter pushed him for more, he simply shrugged and said, quote, "It's part of the sport, unfortunately, but it shouldn't be." And he's right. While cycling fans have a reputation for being some of the most passionate in the world, there's a fine line between passion and idiocy, and that fine line was thoroughly crossed that day. The history of bad fan behaviour in cycling. Sadly, this isn't the first time a cyclist has been harassed, obstructed, or outright assaulted by fans. Over the years, the sport has seen all sorts of reckless behaviour. For example, 2021 Tour de France, the Omi OP sign incident. A spectator holding a sign too close to the road caused a massive crash, sending multiple riders tumbling to the ground. Or 2019 Giro d'Italia, the beer thrower. A fan decided it would be hilarious to toss a cup of beer at lead rider. Spoiler, it wasn't. Or 2017 Tour de France, Chris Froome versus a punch. A spectator literally punched Froome in the ribs while he was climbing Mont Ventoux. Or 2024 Hulst cyclocross incident, Van der Poel's own spitting episode. Ironically, Van der Poel himself was fined last year for spitting in the direction of a fan who had allegedly been booing and throwing beer at him. So, unfortunately, Van der Poel's recent experience isn't even that surprising. Cycling races take place on open roads, making them one of the few elite sports where fans can get extremely close to the action, sometimes too close, completely free of charge. The authorities and organisers step in. Following the incident, Belgian race organisers and police immediately launched an investigation. As expected, the perpetrator had disappeared into the crowd like a coward, knowing full well that they'd just made a very, very bad decision. But this kind of thing can't keep happening. Organisers are now discussing new security measures, such as increased barriers in high-risk areas, like cobbled climbs where fans are only inches away from riders, or more cameras to catch misbehaving spectators, then harsher bans for fans caught acting out. Some are even suggesting that races should start banning spectators from key sections of the course, which would be a massive shame, given that part of what makes cycling so special is the direct interaction between riders and fans. But if a few bad apples keep ruining it, organisers might have no choice. What happens if this keeps on happening? Let's say this trend doesn't stop. Let's say another overzealous or outright stupid fan decides that spitting, throwing objects, or obstructing riders is part of their personal form of support. What happens then? Okay, well, teams start pushing for more protection then. If incidents like this keep occurring, don't be surprised if teams demand better security measures, possibly even full-on exclusion zones for spectators. Then, races could lose their unique atmosphere. Part of the magic of races like Paris-Roubaix and the Tour of Flanders and even the Tour de France is how intimate they feel. If things escalate, we could start seeing barriers everywhere, turning these events into glorified Formula 1 circuits with little crowd interaction. Not to mention, more severe punishments for fans. If you get caught, the spitter from E3 Saxo Classic could face a lifetime ban from cycling events, or even criminal charges for assault. At the end of the day, cycling needs passionate fans, not reckless, outright crazy ones. Final thoughts. Spit shouldn't overshadow greatness. Van der Poel was the best rider that day. He broke away, he dominated the cobbles, and he did what he does best, win bike races. It's sad that one idiotic act overshadowed his performance, but the good news is that this probably won't faze him. He's dealt with plenty of nonsense in his career, bad luck, bad weather, and now bad fans. At least this story has a somewhat happy ending. Van der Poel won the race, the cycling world rallied around him, and the person responsible? Well, let's just say they'd better hope nobody recognises them in a Belgian bar anytime soon. As for Van der Poel, he'll move on. He'll take this incident, shrugging it off, and get back to doing what he does best, dropping competitors on the cobbles and reminding everyone why he's one of the most dominant forces in cycling history. Guys, with Paris-Roubaix coming up very, very soon, don't forget to check out my race that I covered yesterday about the Paris-Roubaix 2025 and Tadej Pogačar entering the race to shock everyone. Let's be real. Tadej Pogačar is up against Mathieu van der Poel, and it's going to be extremely difficult. However, it's definitely going to be one hell of a race, and I'll be covering that here on this channel. So guys, if you're new here, click subscribe to stay up to date with all of my videos, and leave a like on today's video to show your support for the channel. Also, don't forget that the comment section is wide open for all of you to put down your crazy comments or whatever you want to say. Thanks, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.